What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this YouTube live. So, what's the title, right? What's the topic of this video? About IT certifications. Well, that's exactly what most people focus on, right? Like, what's the next IT certification that I'm gonna get in order for me to obviously get that can be my first job in IT or a better job, right? To upgrade the job that I have now in IT to a better one. And obviously, everyone focus on that. What's the next IT certification that I'm gonna get? Now, let me tell you how it is, okay? And this is something that you can find out if you reach out to the right people. Reach out to some recruiters, reach out to some managers, reach out to some senior level engineers, and ask them, what do you think about IT certifications? What do you think? Like, and be honest. Like, I'm going to ask you a question and be totally honest with me. Give me your honest opinion. What do you think about someone that has a lot of IT certifications? And you're going to find out that, listen, they're not that credible. Why? Because we both know that anyone can get certified over the weekend. And that's exactly what most people do. That's exactly what most people end up doing. They go through probably a few videos and they probably take an entire week to memorize that questions for them to get their Cisco CCNA or for them to get their AWS certification or probably their Azure certification or their CompTIA certification, right? This is obvious. This is obvious, and many people have the illusion that the more IT certifications I get, the better. And this is how I'm gonna go next year, 2022. That's exactly my focus. I'm gonna get 2, 3, 4 IT certifications, and that's exactly what's gonna give me a job in IT, or that's exactly what's gonna get me to a high-paying job in IT. Let me focus on that. And that's gonna be easy because I'm just gonna go through a few videos. I'm gonna end up doing a few labs, right? But I'm gonna buy the questions. And then I'm going to memorize those questions. I'm going to take the entire weekend, probably a week, because some exams may have 200 questions, some others 500 questions, and probably some others 800 questions that you have to go through, that you have to memorize. And then what? Then what? Right? You see? And come on. If you agree, put them in the chat because that's the reality of it. That's exactly the reality of it. You have any idea how many people reach out sometimes? And one of the questions I ask, okay, so you have that network class, you said, or you have that Cisco CCNA, right? Yes, okay. So would you mind if I ask you like an easy question? Okay, I'm not gonna go that advanced. I'm just gonna ask you something very easy. Is that okay? Yes, okay. So can you tell me what's the difference between a layer 2 switch compared to a layer 3 switch? Okay. And then they go about it and they come out with some BS. Some of them come with a definition. And I'm like, can you tell me more about it? They have no idea, but they have their Cisco CCNA. Or if I ask, can you tell me more about the experience you have or anything that you have done with OSPF? And can you walk me through it? No idea what to say. Well, OSPF is open sure. Yeah, about that. It's been a few weeks, months since I took my CCNA. And I tell them right there, come on, don't bullshit me. You end up memorizing the questions. Be honest, and this is not just you. Most people do that. And they're like, well, yeah, I end up doing that. Ha! You see? Now, this is something I'm telling you that now probably you can go with it, right? The last 7 years, the last 5 probably, but the last 3 years, and now managers know that. So when they look at the resume, they're like, oh wow, we have someone that has every CompTIA certification. They have the A plus, the Network plus, Security plus, IT fundamentals, Cloud plus, plus. They have a ton of them. I'm like, come on, like really, guys? Like, come on, right? I'm like, how long it took you for you to get a ton of, all of these IT certifications? 6 months? Did you end up taking exam every 2 weeks? What happened? How much you end up paying for the questions? Again, And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, go on the chat. I'm gonna go through your comments. Okay, I'm gonna go through your comments. Now I have someone that says, Mark, certs are great, but if you suck and don't remember things, that cert cover and don't have the article, then worthless. Now, I agree with Mark about that. About yes, you getting certified. Yes, people are gonna reach out to you. That's it. But you see, people have the idea that once I get that one IT certification, or once I get another three IT certifications, I'm gonna get that job. I'm gonna get a high paying job in IT. That's what's gonna happen. A lot of people are gonna call me in, and obviously, I'm gonna probably study at that point to go through that job interview process and get the job. And that's not what happens. That's not what happens, right? So again, don't don't be on this reality that it's no longer there, and you thinking that certification is gonna get you a high paying job in IT, what's gonna give you the job. Okay, because once again, right now the managers and recruiters are really smart, and they can tell because once again, they do that. Like a recruiter, they talk to people every day. That's their job. That's their job. They probably end up talking to 40, 50 people that one week based on a few positions they have with different clients. So they have experience based on like seeing the bullshit coming out of your mouth, or someone that, wow, this guy does has experience, so this guy really knows what to do. Like he can get the job done, right? They can tell. And I'm telling you, the IT certifications in next year, 2022, will not be that answer on you getting a high paying job in IT. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. That's the reason why I do these videos, guys, because I want to bring you some awareness about what's the next thing that you have to do. What's the next thing that you need to focus on? Yes, go and get certified. But here's the other thing. Now, this is something that I end up doing with a few of my students. And I will tell you this, okay? And listen to this, because if you only take this, the next 3-5 minutes, and what I'm going to say, that's more than enough for you to go and do some thinking, because probably maybe you're doing something wrong. And that's not because you're dumb, because you're not. It's just that you end up listening to the wrong people. I did for many years. I end up listening to the wrong people, and I end up doing things that I was not supposed to. I end up, learning things that I was not supposed to. I was that guy that I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a ton of IT certifications. And I end up doing that. I end up getting a ton of Microsoft certifications, a ton of them. Until one day a guy told me, like, why you have that many IT certifications? And why you put all of them on the resume? Or like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, only put the ones that says something about that position, because there are a few here that, I mean, come on, you don't have to put this. I mean, you're already in that kind of engineer level position, and that got me thinking, and that was years back. And obviously, after doing more research, me doing Network Engineer Academy, and me talking to a lot of people out there to see how the game is being played out there, I found out so many things. And I'm telling you, you have no idea the information, the insights that you can get when you interview a recruiter. That means come up to a recruiter and be like, hey, I want to take you out for lunch. And I know probably you're always the one taking someone out to lunch to find out more about them, but I want to be that this time. I want to ask you a few questions. I want to know how that game is being played out there. So will you mind? I want to take you out to lunch. I want to ask you a few questions, and you have no idea that information they're going to provide to you. You're going to be like, what? And you will know better on what to do and what not to do. Compared to like right now in IT, that's the reality of it. Blind people leading more people. I'm telling you, blind people are leading more people based on what's not done. Okay, so let's see. And again, guys, if you have any questions, I'm gonna go through some of them, but I'm gonna go through a few things that you need to focus on next year in 2022, because that's exactly what I will do. If I go back years when I was barely going through my IT career, when my mindset was the more IT certifications, the better, right? And I'm not going to lie to you, back then, yes, I end up doing what everyone is doing right now. I end up memorizing a few questions. And someone that tells you that they didn't do it, that's bullshit. There is really bullshit. Went through my IT career, I getting my not my A plus. That one it was good one, like good. That network plus, that one is a good one too. But since I started going through Microsoft and others, I got people saying, Jorge, just go through those questions. And I ended up doing that for a few years, many years ago. Again, I didn't know any better. And that's the reason why I was going from one entry level job to the next entry level job and the next entry level job, like many people right now. I was my first job in IT, and again, this goes many years back. Okay, I was getting paid $13 per hour. First job in IT, entry level job. And I still had an entry level job, but I was earning $25 per hour. So I was going through one job to the next, I was getting paid a lot more. And then to the next, I was getting paid a lot more. But the problem was those jobs, all of them were entry level jobs. I was focused on getting paid more, obviously, but on entry level certifications and doing entry level things because I didn't know any better. I didn't know that you can go from first job in IT, a job that's not an entry level job, and some type of an admin position, support position, again, not entry level job, and then from that job to engineer level position. You see, I didn't know those things back then. Good thing, obviously, now I know that. That's what I teach the students to do. But back then, I didn't know none of them, right? So going back on the conversation, like if you focus on an IT certification, I'm gonna tell you this: make sure that's the one that you really need for the next job that you want to get. Because if you go based on YouTubers, based on what the other people may say, you're gonna get it wrong, you know? Because once again, right? Like, and really think about this, guys. Really think about this. Let's say I go through my IT career and I just end up getting my Cisco CCNA. I got it. Like, yes, done. Okay, so what's next? Because obviously I want to get another IT certification. So what's next? Okay, well, I don't know. Let me go out there and ask some people. Let me go in that community. Let me go and ask some engineers out there. Right now, I reach out to someone that it's working right now, let's say in cloud automation, DevOps, right? And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just end up getting my Cisco CCNA. And obviously, I don't want to stop. I want to get to the next one. He obviously is gonna look, man. It's gonna pay you really well if you want a cloud, and it's gonna pay you really well if you start learning about, Python, about Docker, Kubernetes, automation. Man, that's so many opportunities out there. That's exactly what you need to do. Probably my advice is get some AWS, maybe Azure, maybe go on the CCNA .NET. Do that. I'm like, that's great, good, okay. And then I reach out to someone else, and probably that someone else is a senior network engineer, right? Same thing. Now, probably that person is not working on cloud. It's not working on anything related to DevOps, automation, none of that. Probably working on other things, right? Probably, let's say, security, firewalls, Palo Alto firewalls, let's say, VPN connectivity. Like, I'm telling you, I'm going to get totally different advice, guidance from that person to the other person. Now I'm going to go with some YouTubers, right? Once you get to CCNA, you better get this certification. And now you're confused. Now you don't know what to do. Or now you're thinking, I have to know everything. And that's without you realizing that you stuck yourself. Like you, again, without realizing, you end up stuck. You don't know what to do. You're confused and you focus on doing the wrong things. You see, I did this process not too long ago with some of my students in the coaching program. And I went through that process with them. I'm like, okay, let's look for someone. They end up getting the Cisco CCNA, looking for the first job in IT, making sure it's not an entry-level job. And that was go based on New Jersey. And let's see what they need. Okay, we went through that process. Okay, now let's go to Chicago, where I live. Okay, the same thing. Let's say I just got my CCNA, completely new in IT, right? But I'm following this process that Jorge told me, right? Taught me about how to go about it, get my first job in IT, a good one, not an entry-level job. And then I do that research. Now, when I do that research, right, and I did both New Jersey and Chicago, I compare the things needed in Chicago for me to do next were not the ones needed in New Jersey. So imagine, right, if I'm going to tell you this is exactly what you need to do next when you get your Cisco CCNA or once you get your AWS certification, this is exactly the next thing you need to focus on. I have no idea about you. I have no idea what you are going through in life. I don't know if you're in your early 20s, 30s, 40s. I don't know if you have a family, if you don't. I don't know if you're financially good or not, if you already have a job in IT or not. All those factors, big deal. And what advice, guidance I will give you. And a lot of it will be for you to do some research and a few things that I will ask you to do and questions that you need to ask yourself. That way you find out more about exactly what's convenient and the right thing for you, not for someone else, for you. But you see, people don't do that. They prefer to go on YouTube and kind of say the same things that everyone is saying. That way you agree with them. That way everyone is going to like them because he's basically saying the same things that everyone else is saying. But when someone like me come out and say, hey, if you don't do the fucking work, you're not going to get no fucking hype in Japan IET. If you're fucking all over the place, you're going to fucking be all over the fucking place. And again, not being able to get exactly what you want because you look all over the fucking place. You have no plan. You have no nothing. Because you go through life, you go through your IT career and fucking autopilot. Then you don't like it because now you have someone telling you the truth. That's how it is. Okay? So, okay, so I have a student here. Holy shit. Sorry, Nate. I'm going to send you that training call. This is one of my students. I'm going to send you that training call that we had. Okay? So, Chess, let's go back on that conversation. So, what you need to do next year, what you need to focus on. Obviously, focus on the right IT certification. And again, some of you, well, which one is the right one? I don't know about you. But there are other things that you need to focus your time on, right? Now, obviously, for you to get a job, you need to go through where? Where? The job interview what? Process, right? In order for you to get your first job in IT. And by the way, guys, please push the like button. For those of you watching, do that. That way they can go to more people because I really want to make sure that this message gets to more people. Okay. And now I see in the camera, I noticed I got this last night. You know what this is, guys? This is sexy time, by the way. Okay, let me show you. This is sexy time for me. Watch. I haven't put them on, but one of these days will be a sexy time, guys. Look. Huh? Really cool, right? Anyways, I saw in the background. I'm like, no, let me show you. Just to probably get your attention about what I'm about to say. Okay. Put it back here. So, anyways, going back on the conversation. And next year, and what are the skills you need to learn? And this is why, because either you're gonna go and get your first job in IT, or to upgrade the job that you have in IT to a better one. You have to go through that job interview process. And you're going through the job interview process, there are many things you have to do, and all of them really well in order for you to get the job. Because as you know, there are going to be other probably 20, 30, 50 people applying for that same job, right? But now let's say it comes down to 10, and maybe you are one of those 10. They're going to finally go through that entire job interview process. You're going to end up talking to probably HR, the manager, a few people on the IT team, and they're going to do what? Ask you, right? They're going to ask you what? Some questions. And they're going to ask you two types of questions. One of them, technical questions, and the other one, non-technical questions, right? Now, and that's how you get the job, right? Now, people think this, okay, I'm going to get the job. Yes. If I answer all the technical questions. And many people think that way and go based on that, right? First, I'm going to go through this interview, and my job here is to answer questions, right? And if I answer all questions, technical questions, more likely I'm going to get the job. And you got it all wrong. And I know probably this happened to you because this happened to me a few times. When, I'm very aware of the questions they're asking me, right? And I answer all the questions. And at the end of the interview, I get out and I'm like, they're going to call me back. They're going to, get offer me the job because they asked me 6 questions, let's say. And I answered every question right. I knew the answers. I'm going to get the job. All of them. Done. But what happened? You don't think about the other 10 people They probably got the same questions. And they probably, out of the 10, maybe 8, answer all the questions as well. So you are not the only one. There are other 8 candidates. They answer all questions. But now you have the thinking that you're gonna get the job, and eventually you don't. Me, days go by, and either I didn't hear back from them, or sorry, but we have to go with another person. You know, that happened to me many times, many years back. Now, obviously, there is a way, a process, and how to get a fucking job, and how to differentiate yourself from everyone else. Now, let me give you a scenario. I was not supposed to do this, and I only got 20 minutes more, so I'm gonna go with it. Okay. Like, what would you say, really? Right? And I know all of you listening right now, all of you know this answer. All of you, right? And that answer is this. That question is this. What's the difference between a static IP address compared to a dynamic IP address? What would you say? Like, really think about it. I'm not asking you for you to write it down. And by the way, if you have any questions, go on the chat, because I'm going to take a few minutes and go back on that. Okay. But let's focus on that, guys. What would you say? I know each one of you, like you, for instance, you know the answer, right? You know the difference between a static IP address compared to a dynamic IP address. And I really need you for you to engage with me right now and really think. And what would you say if I'm that manager or I'm that recruiter asking you that question? What would you say? Like, go through that process, take a 30 seconds, and I will say this. I will say blah, 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 blah. Now, let me give you another question, okay? And I'm going to go back and I'm going to answer one of them. I'm going to ask you, let's say, what's the difference between a layer 2 device switch compared to a layer 3 device switch? So what's the difference between a layer 2 switch compared to a layer 3 switch? And I know all of you watching, each one of you, know the answer. Now imagine that you went through the job interview process. And you have probably so far, man, they asked me 2 questions. I know both really well. Now you're thinking, I'm going to get this job. But again, each one of you listening right now, I know that you know that answer, right? And I'm going to go back to it. You're going to see a difference, but I need you to really take the time to do that, okay? Now, what about another question? Let's go based on another question, okay? The last question, okay? What's the difference between TCP compared to UDP? What would you say? And I know you know the answer of that question as well, right? Now, the last question, okay? One last question. The question is, I see on your resume that you have experience working with VLANs. Okay. Can you tell me more about when was the last time that you ended up doing something with VLANs, and can you walk me through it? What would you say? And I get it. I know that you know what's a VLAN. Probably not all of you, but most of you. But once again, what would you say? And I know that in this case, most of you know the answer of this question. But what would you say? Because you see, the way that you answer that question, that's for me, the manager, the recruiter, the engineer, for me to think of you, okay, this person knows. But can this person get the job done? Maybe not. And if you do not answer that question and the other people's mind, you will not get the job, because I'm gonna be like, Tony, yeah, let's say again, I'm the manager with the engineer and the HR. I'm like, well, let's talk about Tony. Tony, wow, that Tony answered all the questions. He knows. I can tell that he knows. He answered all the questions. I really like that guy. But and then let's say the engineer says, yeah, but what about Carlos? Yeah, Carlos too. Now that I think about it, Carlos answered all the questions too. All of them. And I kind of like this guy too, has experience as well. And now that I'm thinking, what do you think about David? David too, right? David answered all the questions as well. I kind of like that guy too, experience too, right? Now the question is, okay, they all know, they all answer the questions, but who can get the job done? I don't know. Who can get the job done? Who can get the fucking job done? I don't know, man. It seems that all of them know a lot, but to get the job done, I don't get that feeling from anyone. You know what? Yeah, let's just continue and interview more people. And then done. And then you're wondering why you end up not getting the job. Like, really? Like, come on. You see? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay? Now, I'm going to answer one question, just one question out of those three things. And it will take me a long time for me to break it down to you on exactly how to, because it's a process. For me, answer one, and you can probably see a difference. Okay? And I'm going to go both ways. Let's go with question number one. You know, what's the difference between static IP address compared to dynamic IP address? And I know probably thinking, well, static IP address, it's, you know, someone going into that computer and typing it down on the computer. And that means typing out the IP address, and that's static. And that's, again, going to that computer statically, physically going there, blah, blah, blah. That bullshit. Right? And then they're going to say, oh, and by the way, dynamic IP address, well, that's not us going into the device and statically, physically put it in there. You know, we use DHCP. DHCP is the one that's going to provide IP addresses for those computers that are set up as getting an IP address dynamically. And obviously, all computers, when you get them out of the box, there's the way they're set up. You know, they take them out of the box, you turn it on, and they're going to either connect through a cable or through wireless, connecting to the Wi-Fi, and yes, you know that the DHCP is gonna provide that because it's dynamic and all this bullshit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I ask you a question just to see if you can get the job done, not to get a class from you, not to get a fucking technical lecture. Like, really? Like, where you get that from? From a fucking video on YouTube or a book, or what's going on here? Right? So obviously you don't do that. Obviously you don't do that. So how will you go about it, right? How will you go about it? In this case, this is creating a scenario, right? And I will go based on this. You asked me that question, right? You asked me that question. Hey, by the way, Jorge, you know, one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is this, you know, what's the difference between having a static IP address compared and having a dynamic IP address? You know, what's the difference? I'll be like, and let's say your name is, I don't know, David, right? So I'm like, David, well, let's just imagine this, you know, that we have about 20 computers right here. And obviously we want these 20 computers to communicate to one another. And obviously they're going to need an IP address in order for these 20 computers to communicate, right? We both know that. But here's the question. Do we want to do this dynamically or statically, right? So that's the question. And 20 computers, you and I, we can get that done in the next 30 minutes. Statically, that means go on each of these computers and set up not just the IP, but the other TCP IP settings that the computers need in order for them to communicate to one another and obviously to the other devices on the network. But I know what you're probably thinking, David, that cannot be that effective, even though we can get this done in the next 30 minutes. The most effective way, and I know that's how you have that set up here in this office, is having a server or some type of appliance that is using DHCP, you know, the dynamic host configuration protocol, because that's the one that's going to be able to provide these 20 computers, you know, an IP address in order for them to communicate. But not only the IP address, as we both know, they're going to other TCP IP settings, right? The summon mask, because obviously these computers need to know what network they belong to. Maybe some computers belong in one network, some others in another network, and some others in another network. So they need to know. And let's not forget that default gateway, because that's the only way, in this case, that users using these computers be able to connect, right, to the resources out there. You know, that share network, probably some printing, some applications that we have out there. So obviously they're going to need that exit point, and that's the default gateway. And let's not forget the DNS. That's the other thing DHCP is going to be able to provide, you know, based on the TCP IP settings, because once again, right, these computers, in order for them to communicate, that's through an IP, not based on their name. So that DNS is going to basically translate that fully qualified domain name to the IP address. Like the other day, I remember that this happened to me. I had this user, and this user had an issue connecting to the network, and that issue was related to an IP address. So let me tell you about it, and I'm going to tell the story. You see? Come on, guys. That was fucking beautiful. That was beautiful. Now, no one answered questions that way. And that was halfway done. There's other two things that you have to do when I'm telling the story, and another thing too. But if you see that I end up doing so many things, you can go back in this video once it's up there and see your answer and compare that to this answer. And I follow this framework. That's what I teach inside a coaching program. That's what the students end up learning, the most of it, in order for them to get the job. Obviously, you end up learning more, not because you're going to know how to do this, you're going to end up getting the job. That's so many things you have to do, obviously. But this is something that I really need you for you to think of. Why? Because next year, 2022, in order for you to differentiate yourself from all other competition, because right now you have to compete. You have to beat the other candidates, because there are a ton of them that want the fucking same job that you want. They want the fucking paycheck, your paycheck, right? But obviously you have to compete. And how are you gonna compete? Tell me, how? Thinking because you have 1, 2, 3 IT certifications, that's enough? Maybe the other people, they have a lot more IT certifications. So how? Oh, because you think you have more experience than them? No. Again, the way that you go about it, that's how you end up getting the job. That's how everyone is gonna mention, call out your name and not someone else, because you know what to do in order for each one of those people. That can be 2, maybe that can be 5, right? Depending on how many did you end up talking to throughout the job interview process and that one job, right? They have to love you, like you, trust you. How can you do that? Oh, I know how to do that. How? Because most people don't know how to do that, the process to do that. And for them to think, not that you know, because that's exactly what everyone else does. Okay? That's exactly what everyone else does. Mustafa, I'm going to send you one. Mustafa. But yeah, guys, I mean, come on. Like, really? Now, I know probably I'm a little bit like harsh on how I go about it, but I have really the passion to help you and to tell you things how they are. And I hope that a lot of it, you go through this and you really question what you know. Like, really question, because once again, me doing this channel is for me to bring you some awareness, for you to do the right things, because I want you to get a lifestyle, the lifestyle that you want. Because IT can do that, even though a lot of people in IT, they just live paycheck to paycheck. And there are many people that have been working in IT for so many years, living paycheck to paycheck. Obviously, you don't want to listen to those people. Now, if that's you, don't think it's time for you to kind of wake up and be like, how is other people able to double their income in IT? Now, some of you think, that's not possible. Yeah, you can get to a high-paying job in IT, but can you really double your income in IT? Come on, Jorge, really? Now you went too far. You see, now you have a story, a belief that is telling you, oh, that's not possible. When I see that happen many times with my students and with other people outside. And that's exactly what you need to question. How is it other people are getting what I want? Not me. Maybe I have the way of thinking probably is not the proper thinking that can get me there. My thoughts, my beliefs. Yeah, that's probably what's really holding me down, back, and being able to get the high-paying job in IT next fucking year, 2022. And once again, all this conversation goes back on, don't focus too much on IT certifications. Okay? Don't focus too much on IT certifications. Focus on the one that will get you the job, the next one that you're going to go after. And there's a process for you to know which one that is. And on top of that, on other high-paid skills. Because the way that you learn, and this is something that I've been saying for the last 3 years. And if you go back on my YouTube videos, way back, I don't know by now, but I was the only guy back then, the only guy in IT that I was giving advice and guidance and telling people, make sure you take the time to know how to go through information. Make sure you take the time to be able to learn how to learn information, because most people don't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. The good thing that I had a mentor that told me, Jorge, right now we are, and this is many years back, okay, this is not last year to, no, this is going back many years. Right now we are going through the era of information, too much information out there. You can really find anything you need out there, but you see, that's not the answer. What the answer is, be able to find the information that you need, not that someone else needs, that's based on the same topic. No, the one that you need, not someone else. And on top of that, and how you're gonna go about learning that information, because most people don't know how to learn. Most people don't know how to go through information in a way that's gonna help them, in a way that's gonna apply to them in order for them to get what they want. What I just give you was gold. This last minute, that one thing that I just said that I got from a mentor, that totally changed how I end up approaching my IT career. I'm not gonna say my life, but my career. And IT by just saying that one thing. I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you. So this is why, guys, you have to think of it that way. Like, what are other skills? Like, really, what are other skills that I need to learn? They have nothing to do with IT, nothing to do based on me learning Linux, me learning Kubernetes, my bad, me learning about the VMware virtualization, about, Palo Alto firewalls, about PowerShell, Python, and this, and like, yes, you need to learn some of that, but that's depending on what you're gonna go after, not all of it. But what are the other skills? They will allow you for you to differentiate, for you to fucking beat the competition. That's exactly what you need to ask yourself. Most people don't know how to do that. Most people in IT, again, I've been saying this too for a long time. I'm telling you, and listen to this, okay, guys? Listen to this. It's like monkey see, monkey do, right? Monkeys see other monkeys doing things, and that monkey don't question it, and they go about doing the same thing. And then the worst part is, now that monkey goes and teach other monkeys to do the same. I don't know if you hear me out properly, but I'm gonna repeat that one more time and let that sink. Okay? Like, again, monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see other people going through and doing something. Let's say their IT career, right? And then they don't question it. They go about doing the same thing. Even though they don't question if that's working, but they go about it. And the worst thing is, once they go about it, then they go and teach it to other people. Wow. I've seen that happening a lot. So what does that mean? That don't be the fucking monkey. What that means is, if you see everyone, right, focus on that one thing, just step back and be like, let me be smart here. And this is something I learned from not a mentor, a coach. I pay for a coach. And he basically walked me through this process that I'm walking you through right now. Like, really question, Jorge, what other people are doing based on what you're doing. Like, are they really doing the right thing? Can you see that based on the results they have? Do they end up getting that income, that life that you want, or no? Well, not. So why are you following them? What are you go and do about what everyone else is doing? Why? Well, I never thought of it that way. Exactly. You never thought about that way because you never took the time to think. Just like the monkey see, monkey do. You monkey, you, Jorge, I see, and then you go and do. And now you're probably gonna tell other people to do the same shit that it's not even working for you. How fucked up that is. And I was like, oh shit, he has a point. Never thought about it that way. I was kind of going through life in autopilot. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. I'm telling you. Okay. So this is why, guys. This is why, guys. You have to, like, you really have to. What's next year? It's gonna give me 2022. How can I double my fucking income in IT? Now, for those of you that don't have a fucking job in IT, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? You're probably not getting the job, and you keep doing the same things that you are not that are not working for you. I love these people, the IT community. They give motivation. I don't believe in motivation, by the way. They motivate you to go back and do the same shit that it's not working for you. How fucked up that is. Like, really, that's the reality that we have right now. Let me go and get some motivation. They have this guy in the IT community that's gonna motivate me, because I feel down. I probably end up not passing my test. I end up not getting the job that I wanted. So I'm like, I feel down. Let me listen to this guy, and okay, he's giving me some motivation, and okay, I'm gonna do this, and you go back and do the same thing that's not been that they didn't work for you. Okay. I'm telling you, you really have to let that sink in. Because I know you are probably doing things based on what you're seeing other people do, what other people are guiding you, advice you do. And this is something I've been saying a lot too. You have a lot of YouTubers, some of them, they could provide good info. I'm not saying no, but there are some that focus too much based on how many views they're gonna get based on what's the trending at that point. And they go about it, learn this one thing, and you go about it. 2 weeks later, they come out with something else. And again, 3 months went by, and you end up learning a lot of everything, and now you're all over the fucking place. Same job, same pay rate, same everything. Like, come on, it's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to really take control of your life, and it's time for you to really make shit happen next year, 2022. And it's gonna come down to and you deciding to fucking change. Nothing outside of you is gonna change things for you. You are the one that has to change. You are the one that have to decide. You know what? I have to let go me. Who the person that I am right now? I have to let go. I need to be on the path to become the new version of me, that better one. That one that's gonna fucking get me that lifestyle that I want. Fuck. I'm telling you guys, Jesus. you know so again, that's what I'm all about. So you see, when I work with the students and one-on-one, this is how we go about it. Real. I tell you things how they are. I hold you accountable, and let's make it shit happen. That's kind of the one thing that I tell my students, in the inner circle. Like, look, guys, I want you guys to get more money than me. I want you guys to get more opportunities than me, because there are a ton of them in IT. Like, this is something too that I've been saying too a lot. IT changed my life financially. IT, because many of you probably know this, that I do not have a bachelor's degree. I don't, and I do not have a high school diploma. I do not have my GT. I don't. And again, my previous job, uh, that was a senior network, senior system engineer. And it says, bachelor's required. Bachelor's required. So how is that a high school dropout, no GT, end up getting the fucking job? And that's not job that I have right now, okay? Because yes, by the way, I still have a full-time job. But my previous job, how I went on getting that job. You see, guys, sometimes you have to kind of like think outside the box and see what other very few people are doing that most people are not, to see like and compare. Because I'm telling you, there are people out there earning 130, 160, 180, 200K. On top of that, they probably have their consulting going. They do a few other things related to IT, because there's so many things that you can do for you to be able to earn more income. IT can fucking change your financial life. Okay? Joshua, Jorge, problem is there's a lot of IT monkeys without critical thinking and skills. Yes, that's exactly what's going on. Too many people, again, I'm telling you, just following other people without questioning if they're doing the right thing. What will you do? Because that was me back then, not now, because now I think, right? But what will you do, right? Let's say that and you've probably seen videos like this. They have that one guy in the on the street, and then you see like another 30 people like running the other side, right? And you just by yourself, you're like, just what's going on? Most people what end up doing, they run with the herd. Like everyone is running over there, and I'm not. Let me go. And they never question why. They not step back and be like, let me look. What's going on? Like, okay, out of nowhere, like 30 people running that. Like, why? What's going on? Let me see. Like, do I need to worry about? Do I need to go that way too, or what's going on? No, most people are like, oh shit, they're running. Let's go, let's go. Cause I don't know what's happening, but everyone is running over there, so let's go. That's fucked up. You know, I'm telling you, that's fucked up. This is why, guys, I really hope that this is really helping you for you to be like, you know what? I have probably 3 weeks left this year. Let me focus on me creating a plan of action for next year. And let me focus on skills, not related to IT. Okay. Skills, not related to IT. That's going to deeply allow me to get that job. That's going to allow me to go and play the game, a bigger game, and be able to beat the other people that once they want the same job I want, you know, because once again, I want to double my income. There are many opportunities out there, guys, but I'm going to tell you this. Don't focus too much on IT certifications. Focus on only that one that's going to get you to the next point. Now worry about all the topics I need to learn, all these things I need to know, and all this fucking bullshit. Don't fucking do that. Again, you have to focus on what are the skills that will allow you to be able to get there. Many of them you have it right here. A lot of them, they're based on some of those books. I have some other books on the garage because that's where I'm going to be filming the videos for the membership, the coaching program. This is kind of an office, but I have some other books. But a lot of them, like, let me tell you, like this book, not lying. I'm focused on like, I'm not lying to you. I went through this book 3 times. 3 times I went through this book. All my freaking notes on this. Now, you come up to me, Ryan, like, Jorge, what's the best advice that you can give me right now in my IT career? What's the one thing right now? Like, go, this. You get this book, right? And you'll be thinking, I didn't know what's this book all about? It's what application is this? Is this Python, Linux? Like, what the hell is this? Is this cloud? Is this going in the cloud, or this is like, what the hell is this? Nothing to do with IT. But what would I advise you to do that? Like, really, why would I advise you to do that? Because this is more valuable than an IT certification. Yes, it is. Oh, I don't believe that. Do you have a high-paying job in IT that you took about 2 years to get one, like my students do? I'm telling you, this is one of them. You know, this is one book that I do recommend. Okay. And it's really good. It's about storytelling. Do you know how to storytell? When you go through that job interview process, when you connect to people, when you reach out to a manager, when you have probably a meeting, probably a project you're working on, probably with an end user. Like, do you know how to do that? Probably not. You probably come across as, oh, here comes the IT geek. Here come out the awkward guy. Here come out the guy that knows a lot but don't know what to do with that information they end up learning. That's the reality of it, you know. So I have to go, guys, because I have a call. I probably have another 10 minutes, no, 5 minutes, because I do have a call with one of my students. But once again, guys, I mean, really, don't you think it's time for you to be like, okay, Jorge, give me a few points. And let me go back on this video and kind of go through them. And let me think. Again, I'm not here, guys, to tell you exactly what you need to do. I'm just telling you some stories based on my experience, based on what I went through to help me to be here, what students are going through that help them to get their first job, some of them a high-paying job in IT. So far, there's been four students that got with me, that earn more than me and a full-time job. So if we go based on a full-time job, they have 4 students that earn more than me. 4. And I'm on 129 right now. So, and I have 4 that already have earning more than that. So that's, again, right, something for you to think and be like, really? Like, how? Again, because they do not focus just based on that. And IT certifications. There's a lot more than just IT certifications. There are other skills that will allow you for you to have more value based on what the market needs, based on what the market wants. Anybody can get the A plus. Anybody can get the security plus. Anybody can get the CCNA. Anybody can get the CCNP. Anybody can get the AWS. You know, architect. Like anybody can do that. I can just get the questions. I can pay $100, $200, get the questions, and I'm gonna go on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm gonna memorize the questions, and then I'm gonna pass. And then the week after, because I'm a really badass, I'm gonna buy more questions, and I'm gonna get another test, and probably now I'm gonna post on social media that in 1 month I end up taking 3 exams, and I'm a fucking smart. No, you're a dumbass. You end up memorizing the questions. And the thing is that you're not fooling no one, because that's exactly what many people now knows. Managers know that, engineers knows that. And the more IT certifications you have, you probably think, oh, that's better. No, it's not. People don't like to see that much, because once again, everyone knows. Like really, everyone knows that you end up memorizing the fucking questions. I'm telling you. Okay. Now, that was one guy that asked, but right there. For those of you that are ready for that coaching, just get me one-on-one. If I can help you, I tell the students they sign up, right, with me. Just stuck with me. Like you really stuck with me until you get the fucking job, the next one, or your first job. That's kind of the thing. Nate, just give me a second. I'm gonna send it to you. Nate is one of my students, by the way. Okay, for those there in the chat. So Nate, as soon as I end this, I'm gonna go on Dropbox, and I'm gonna send you the recording that we had last week, or a few days ago. Anyways, so don't kill me, Nate. I'll send it to you. I'm sending it to you. Okay. So once again, guys, don't. If the one thing that you can get from this is just that, like, just question what you know, what you believe. Like, really question it. Take an hour, maybe take two, and literally write it down. What are the things that I believe, the things that I think I have to do, the ways on how to go about it, my IT career, in order for me to get to a high-paying job in IT. Now, what's a high-paying job in IT? A job that's gonna pay me more than $120,000. Now, maybe that can be the problem, that I don't think I'm worth it of it, or I probably think it's gonna take me maybe 7 years to get there, or I don't know if that's gonna be possible for me. You see, at that point, now you're wrong. Now you have the wrong thinking. That will not get you nowhere. And you see it, and that's a question for you to be like, so why Jorge make it seem like 120, anyone can get that? Because yes, anyone can get that. And very soon, 2-3 jobs and you're there. 2-3 jobs and you are there. And yes, I'm talking to you if you're new in IT. You have no experience, you have no job in IT, you're looking for you to get the first one. 2-3 jobs to get to 120K in less than 2 fucking years. Yes. So don't go based on what other. Oh, because I don't know. Is that really bad? You see, now it's questioning why I think that this is not that cannot happen to me. I see this guy Jorge. I mean, he's a high school dropout. He fucking like speak English very bad, like very bad. He doesn't have like a proper accent English, and he able to be successful in his career and help many other people to be successful. So if that fucking guy can do that, like, why not me? Right? Like, I want people to look at me and be like, if that dumbass did it without a GD, what's holding me back? This guy coming from Mexico, and I can tell because the fucking accent, he don't have to say he's a fucking Mexican, right? Like, as soon as I say hi, Mexican, right there, right? I'm telling you, okay? Uh, so yes, the coaching program is totally different. You basically get me. You see, I didn't say gay me. I said get me. You see, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Uh, you see, I see Mickey. Oh, you see, that's what I said. I'm telling you. Anybody can get a high paying job in IT. Anybody can do that. But only I don't want to motivate you for you to think that just go at it and do the things that you've been doing, because probably that's not gonna get you there. Okay? Just think about what you believe in, what the guidance that you got, because I'm telling you there are better ways on how to get a high paying job in IT. I don't care if you're in your early 20s, you know. I had a student, and Nate know about that student, you know. Um, Juan, no Juan, Jose, yes, Jose. And again, the next few weeks probably I'm gonna bring some of them. I've been wanting to do that, but I haven't got to opportunity. But let me see if he's online right now, just to see. Jesus, my bad, not Jose, it's Jesus. So you see, like right here, probably not see it, but right here you go through it, and can you see it? No, you're probably not gonna be able to see it. So this guy, listen to this, and I know this is gonna piss some of you. He get out from high school guys, right out of high school, and he's like, you know, Jorge, I've been watching your, fuck it, let's do a coaching program. I'm like, okay. Me thinking first, I don't think he's gonna do it because you need discipline, you need the balls to get it done and follow my process and trust the process. He got it done 4 months. He's not even, guys, 19 years old. Okay, he's 18 years old. 1 8, or maybe 19. Maybe he's 19 now. Okay, he's earning $27. How many people do you know that are, let's say, 19? Okay, because I don't want to go ask him and then be like, oh, I'm 19, and then I said 18. Let's say between 18 and 19. Who do you know, 19 years old, earning $27 in an IT job? And by the way, that job that he has, not help desk, not service desk, all that bullshit. No, no, that. Okay. Now, what's the next step after Net Plus? Currently working in the field. First, I wouldn't take the Network Plus, but it seems that you already did it. So, again, it's all dependent on what you're gonna go after next. It's just gonna really come down to that. But guys, I have to go. Just got a message. I'm late on one of my calls with one of my students. Holy shit. Oh my God. Let's see. Okay, it's on in 5 minutes. Okay. So again, guys, any questions you have or anything, you know, I would like to, I really want to help you guys. Like, I really do want to help you. I want to probably give you my email, but no, because then I'm going to get more messages. I'm going to connect with you guys this week again. Okay. I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to talk about with my students. I'm going to share that with you guys. And that can really help you a lot and seeing a better perspective based on your way out in IT. And what does that mean, your way out? Because when you do things right in IT, you can really plan out your exit. What does that mean, exit? Like something that I'm working on right now, based on how many years I need to work in IT to once I get to a high paying job in IT for me to retire. And what are the opportunities out there that can allow me to get over to 300K in IT? And this is not based on just a full-time job in IT. It's just based on a few opportunities combined in a way that you can exit in 5, 10, 15 years. Again, up to you. You can ask this to every student I have in the coaching program that's in their early 20s. When they're like, so how old are you? Oh, 22, oh, 24, oh, 26. Well, 26 now, early 20s. But anyways, and I'm like, man, I wish I knew what I know now. Well, I wish that when I was your age, where you're gonna learn in the next 3 4 months with me, I mean, that can get you for you to retire in the next 10, 15, 20 years. That means in your 30s, 40s, you totally can retire with a really good passive income because of the things that you're gonna end up doing in IT that's gonna allow you for you to invest or do the right things somewhere else with that money. Because again, guys, you going through me, you not only learn through things related to IT, you end up learning skills that can be applied in many other areas in your life. Like many people don't know about awareness. That's one thing that you learn about awareness. That way you stop going through life, not just your IT career, but life without autopilot. Autopilot. Okay. So I have to go, guys, because if not, Nate is gonna kill me because he needs that link. Nate, just give me 10 minutes, man. I will send it to you. Let me just finish this video YouTube live and the call I'm gonna do with one student. Okay, guys. So again, that's a link. If you wanna get more questions, please reach out. I will probably do another one in the next few days, and I'm gonna do that from Punta Mita. That's a beach, by the way, and probably didn't pronounce that properly. But once again, I'm Mexican, right? I'll probably do that from there. But again, guys, make sure you join. Make sure you subscribe for those of you that are not subscribed. That way you can get notifications. And don't forget to like it, the button. That way that tells me that I'm doing good. I'm providing that value needed in the market, in that community. They can really help you. They can difference. Even though I'm gonna be probably that bad guy in front of your face, but sometimes you have to hear the truth. Sometimes you really need that guy that's gonna tell you fucked up. But it's time to make it right. Okay. So take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.